Hello, this is a prepaid call from an inmate at the Virginia Department of Corrections, Red Onion State Prison. To accept this call, press 0.
This is Randall Via, currently serving 1,214 years for capital murder and armed robbery. Currently being housed at King Mountain Correctional Center in Oakwood, Virginia, USA. Welcome to the podcast, Red Onion Randy. I hope you enjoyed listening today. If you have any questions or comments or want to leave a message or whatever, I've got a voicemail line. That number is 1-888-524-1932. You can also visit my website, which is new and improved and got different features and whatnot at www.redonionrandy.com. I hope you do. Let's get started with the podcast. Today I'm going to talk about Robert Brooks. I think a lot of people, who's been watching the news have seen this. He was a 43-year-old African-American man who died on December the 10th, 2024. He was in Marcy Correctional Facility in New York. Excuse me. And, he was sent there for a medical examination, and while he was handcuffed and seated on the examination table, he was beat to death, by several staff members. And, one of the names was Nicholas Anzalone, David Kingsley, Anthony Farina, Christopher Walrath, Matthew Gallagher, and another unnamed officer. I think they was all charged with second-degree murder. And then you had Michael Mayshaw, Michael Fisher, and David Walters. They're facing manslaughter charges. While some guy named Nicholas Gentile is charged with evidence tampering. So, a lot of people, are outraged. Understandably so. You've got a man he's shackled, he's handcuffed, probably have waist chain, wrapped around his waist. That's usually the way they do it, at least here in Virginia, whenever you go to a medical facility. And they just, for whatever reason, it doesn't matter whether the dude was talking, it doesn't matter if he was talking about their mama or and their wives or whatever. You don't beat a man while he's in shackles and handcuffs and tied up. Doesn't matter what the provocation is. Every last one of those men, they're a straight up bitch. I have no respect for them, and I can't wait for them to be found guilty and go to prison. Because this is the thing. They're going to put them in protective custody. More than likely, they might even send them out of state, and they still go into protective custody in other states. But just because you go to protective custody doesn't mean you're guaranteed your safety. Because there are some boys who will check in just to get their hands on you. And I really hope this happens to them. To send a message to every other correctional officer in America. Because while everybody is outraged that this man was beat to death, what about the thousands that are beaten but don't die? I cannot begin to tell you how many times I've seen inmates in shackles and handcuffs get the beat out of them, get stomped, curb stomped,
broken ribs, lacerated spleens, and just all other kinds of damage done to them, broken arms, broken legs. But they didn't die. And because they didn't die, nobody cares. Why is it the public? Why is it the news media? Why is it the politicians? Why is it the legal system? Why do they only care about us and the abuses we suffer? When it's a death and it's caught on camera. Look, if you care, then care. If you don't, fuck. Look, I can respect. If you're in the news media, or you're a politician, or, Commonwealth attorney, or prosecuting attorney, judge, whatever the case may be. Look, if you don't care, then don't care. I can respect that. Don't only care, there's something wrong with this because these stupid-ass people got caught beating a dude to death on camera. And then that camera footage was released. What about the thousands who went through the exact same thing that Robert Brooks went through, with one exception? They didn't die. If you want justice, then you have to want justice for everything that is wrong in the prison system. If you want change, you have to change everything in the prison system. Otherwise, shut up, walk away, and go jerk off to Fortnite. Stop with the half-ass out there, people. Look, if you care, great, then care. Just do it all the way. Because there's no difference between what these officers did and what they do every single day. Beating someone while they're in shackles and handcuffs is abusing your power. It's breaking the law. It is illegal, it is immoral, and it is unethical, and it shows that you are a fucking coward and a bitch. There's some officers I've met I've got the utmost respect for. I've met some that if y'all get to arguing, y'all get to fighting, it's one-on-one, man-on-man. Win, lose, or draw, it don't matter. Once you're done, you're done. That's the end of it. I've seen officers, especially at Red Onion way back in the day when the place first opened up. I've seen officers get their ass beat, and they never wrote a charge. They never retaliated. You don't see that anymore. I don't know why. But you don't see it no more. You see stuff like this. You see a whole bunch of them sicking dogs on guys while they're laying on the ground. Everything is over with. They're shackled. They're handcuffed. The situation has been secured. And they still sick the dog on. Because, well, hell, they think it's funny. They sit over in the watch commander's office and they go and they rewind the tapes and they watch it over and over again. Yet nobody cares about that. They only care when a person dies and whatever Department of Corrections can't cover it up. They can't hide it, and the video footage gets released one way or another. Then and only then does the media care. Then and only then does the politicians care. prisons serve a viable function in society. As much as I hate prison, I'm grateful for them. I'm grateful for the men and women who actually take these jobs. They're not easy jobs. You know, as a matter of fact, it's kind of strange because you have all of this information is coming out now. All of these officers are being charged right now, and at the exact same time, every single New York prison correctional officer are on strike. The governor of New York actually had to send in the National Guard to take over running the prisons. Hell, granted, every single prisoner is locked down in the cell. They ain't coming out. You know, because let's face it, the National Guards don't know how to run a prison. And I get why. Like, you know, they're understaffed. They're underpaid. It's a shit job, people. It really is. Like, I have respect for the officers. No, look, that doesn't mean I like them. It doesn't mean I'm kissing their ass and I ain't institutionalized or any of that bullshit. You know, I'm still a convict first and foremost. You know. However, I am wise enough and I am smart enough to look at the issues from different angles than other than how I feel about it. It's a difficult job. We can be a handful. Hell, I've been a handful most of my prison days. I give these people fits. You know, they're not happy with the fact that I'm running a podcast from in prison. They're not happy with the fact that I say the things that I say about prison. You know, I say the things I say about some of the people that work in here and so on and so forth. You know, at the end of the day, though, they're going to have to deal with it because I still have freedom of speech. And I will continue to do this as long as I have people on the street willing to help me put it out there. You know, but I do show respect at the same time. If you do right by me, I will honor you for it. If you do wrong by me, I will expose you for it. Like at the end of the day, I am who I am, and I don't really care. One way or the other, however it works out. I live and stand on what I say. I am who I am. I make no apologies for it. Now, that doesn't mean I'm always right. That doesn't mean what I believe is always right. That doesn't mean what I say is always right. I can recognize that. And if I'm wrong and you can show me I'm wrong, I will listen to it. I will evaluate it. I will meditate and think upon it. And if I come to the conclusion that you were right, I will change what I say, and I will come back and apologize for being wrong and so on and so forth, and I will do what I can to make it right. Right or wrong, I'm not half-ass about anything. Right or wrong, I don't just care about a situation only because I saw it on the news. Only because people care about it all of a sudden. I care because I care. I try to make things better. I try to fix things. I am so sick of in the media in this country. I'm so sick of these fucking liberals out there that talk about tolerance and caring and this and that, but yet they only do it when it concerns their beliefs, when it's convenient. You know, people only care because Robert Brooks died. And it was splashed all over the news. What about the hundreds every year that die in the state prison systems, the federal prison system, that never make the news? What about those that they've been beaten to death by the COs and the staff members, and then they just simply take some inmate and write him the charges and take him to court for it and blame the death on them and use an innocent inmate to cover it up? Because you think it doesn't happen, but it does. What about the ones that are getting the beat out of them? They're getting their bones broken. They're getting internal damage. But because they don't die, because they survive the little ass whooping they've been given, nobody cares. Nobody says anything. Nobody wants to do anything. If you're not going to care, fine, don't care. But don't care about Robert Brooks simply because he's on the news and you actually got to see the video of him dying, of him being beaten to death. If you're not going to care, don't care. If you are going to care, don't just care about him because you saw it on the news. Care about every single one of us and do something about it. Start writing your congressmen, start writing your senators and so on and so forth, and demanding change, demanding answers. Hook up with a prison advocacy group and ask them, hey, how can we help? What can we do? This right here shows you treat someone like an animal. Don't be surprised when they come home acting like an animal. And Robert Brooks ain't coming home. Unfortunately, the man lost his life because a bunch of fucking cowards were too scared to take the shackles and handcuffs off of him and give him a one-on-one. Yeah. It's you know, we call ourselves the greatest nation on earth, but yet we have the worst prison system. How does that work? How
you have 1 minute remaining.
How is it that I would rather do time in a Chinese prison than do time in an American prison? Something has to happen. Something has to give, because you've got all of these guys that are being abused and beaten. They're going to come home eventually. And they're going to take it out on the people who didn't care. That's what happens. If you don't fix things now, that chicken's going to come home to roost eventually. And it's going to be an angry fucking chicken. If you want to hear more on this episode, me and my editor are going to discuss it over on Patreon. I hope you join me there. I appreciate you folks listening to me. Remember, if you want to leave some feedback on the show or, you know, ask a question or whatnot, again, that number inside the continental U.S. is 1-888-524-1932. Anyone outside the U.S., just put a plus in front of the 1. Works just the same. You can also visit me my website at redonionrandy.com or find me on X at redonionrandy. You don't have to, but if you want to, wherever you listen to my podcast, you know, go on and give me some stars, you know, or whatever is appropriate for that platform. You know, I'll take whatever you can give me and be damn grateful for it. But, you know, I'm trying to grow.
I'm trying to grow the podcast. I'm trying to reach more people. I'm trying to get my voice out there to help people. You know, the crazy thing is I actually am helping people. And in the process, I'm helping myself. So do what you can. And don't forget, I got sweatshirts, T-shirts, and maybe some other merch coming soon. You can find the link on the website, redonyourrandy.com. And y'all take care and stay safe out there. Hope to hear from you soon.
Thank you for using GTL.